I'm Gabi, you're watching Gabi's Confessions, and today we're going to talk about notes. Now that back to school era is full back, I think most people have started school by now, at least I have. I've been having school for a week now, and I've already taken quite a lot of notes. This is just like stuff that I took in one class. This and this. I am a certified note taker. I love taking notes. I am very passionate about my notes, about the way my notes look, about how neat they are. I love having all the information really set out in the perfect place so I can easily find them. So I want to give you the best note-taking tips that I've collected through the years. It doesn't matter if you're maybe in high school, if you're just starting high school, if you're in middle school, if you've never really taken notes, or if you've been taking notes for years. I think it's always nice to hear a different point of view and get advice from different people and see how people are doing it differently from you. I think it really helps you get perspective. And worry not, we will be going through the basics of taking notes, the best methods to take notes, my favorite supplies to take notes, because I think that also having nice supplies can always make you a little bit more excited about taking notes. And of course, I think everyone's favorite part, the aesthetic, how to make your notes cute, how to make them look nice, how to make them look neat. We are going through all of this. I've taken quite a lot of notes already this school year in just a week and a little of being back. So I really wanted to go through the basics of taking notes. I'm just gonna open this because I think these notes are super well taken. These notes I took today were really good. And this is like the main page. This is where we're talking about the Middle Ages and like about what was the mindset during the Middle Ages regarding literature, how people saw the world, and all those sorts of things. Really, the essential of it is listening to what you're being told. I know this can be like a little bit confusing because a lot of people tell you to just try and write everything down. Write everything that your teacher is saying, write everything because you're gonna need it all. And I found that this is not true more often than not. A lot of times you just end up taking a lot of notes on things that were really just your teachers yapping. And I think the main point about actually taking notes is writing all the things you understand. Like, you really have to listen and absorb that information. Like, just turn your brain on and really listen to what your teacher is saying and try to understand it. Like, as you are being told things, it helps you actually think of questions in the moment and actually asking them to your teacher. Because it has happened to me so many times that I just wrote a ton of notes and I didn't understand anything about it. And mindlessly writing notes is not it. Like, it is really not the way to understand things, but you really have to think about it. You have to be able to think about it, to process it in different contexts. So like, put your notes in context. So like, for example, these notes I wrote on the medieval mindset regarding literature. So maybe, can I apply these things if I'm reading maybe a medieval book like Dante's Inferno, or just generally old literature? Can I look at my book with taking in all this information and just applying it to that? Can I do that? You have to think of all these things. Or if you're in math, our teacher has just taught us trigonometry. Can I apply these things in real life context or in problems or real life situations, wherever you need to use it? Can you do that? Because that really is essential of learning, is taking something that you are being told, that you're being explained, and making it yours. You have to make it yours before you write it down. I think this is literally the most important part about taking notes. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Please understand before you write. don't mindlessly write things. Don't use words that maybe you don't understand and your teacher has used them and just wrote them and you just wrote them down because your teacher said it. Put your notes in your own words. That is like my second point is that. Write your notes in your own words, because first you're gonna process it and then you're gonna write it all down. Obviously it becomes kind of a mechanical thing after you get used to it, but you really have to practice it. Like, I think a really good way to practice your note-taking method is listening to maybe a podcast or just a YouTube video or something you're interested on. You can just not write everything down, but just like jot a little bit of maybe some key points. That is really a good way. Like, take something you like and then make it an exercise. Like, make it something that can help you, because learning to take notes on the long run is super important. Like, being able to take notes and just like reflect on what you're being told and reprocess it and put it down is really something that will come back. And if you don't learn to do it now, it will bite you in the ass in like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It will come back eventually. It's probably one of the most important skills that you get from school. Like, aside all the stuff you learn, this is like, I think this is one of the most essential things. I've been told this several times by different teachers. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but I personally do agree that this is super important. It's so important. Learn how to take your notes. Now, I think this applies perhaps more to when your teacher is speaking, your lecturer is speaking, but it's also super important to learn how to make summaries or how to take out the main point from something you've read. Perhaps a textbook or a book you're analyzing for a literature class, especially in a foreign language. Being able to take notes on books that are in a foreign language is actually such a good skill. Like, I think it really gives you the understanding of the language, because you take these things that you read and you put them down. And again, it's the same thing as when you listen. Like, you write it, you think about it, and then you rewrite it down in your own words. See how it all kind of goes back to the same place if you think about it. But for example, I've been assigned a lot of French novels for classes, and I get maybe tests on these novels. Maybe, I don't know, we had a month to read a few chapters, and then by the end of the month, we get a test regarding this chapter. And being able to take notes on this book or like analyze it makes it so much easier. I could definitely make a more detailed video on book analysis, because I think it's such I have a lot to say about it, just because I've had a lot of experience with it. Maybe you're just starting to learn a language and you want to put your skills to work. And reading is a great way to do it, and being able to analyze the books you read is an even greater skill. I don't think there's a lot about my method of taking notes. Like, I just go on with it, and however it goes, it goes. But for example, I think that's something in common. I always start with the main topic, obviously. Like, having a little sentence in the beginning just to set out the whole thing. Just to give you a little bit of an introduction, just to make you understand what you're talking about. That is super useful. But I like to write my notes based on bullet points. Write a whole summarizing sentence that is just like your main point. Like that is the key of what you should understand from these notes. And then develop them into little subpoints that I make with little arrows. Like, they're just like this. I think that's just what I use the most. I like highlighting. I also like underlining for things that are important, but a little less important. And I also like writing. I have these Tombow dual pens. They have a brush pen side and a fine lining side. So you can see it. And I like to write main words with this. Okay, so I have tons of school supplies that I've collected through the years. I've been like collecting supplies since I was like in middle school, since I was like 11, and I'm currently 17, so that's 6 years of collecting stuff on my shoulders. Like, that is a lot of baggage. Me personally, I think. For writing, the best pen literally ever is the Pentel Energel pen. These pens are super high quality. I'm left-handed, and whenever I write, I just go with my wrist and just like the back of my hand on top of what I've just written. And a lot of pens tend to smudge, like even big pens, they smudge so much. And this pen, it literally dries immediately. It never smudges. I think it depends a little bit on the paper too, on how much the paper absorbs. But so far, I've tried it in tons of different types of papers, and it rarely smudges. It has smudged maybe once. I've had this pen for longer than I've had certain friends. I think that says a lot about her. Then we have my literally Gorgina babies, my liners. I have a few more. They are probably the best highlighters I've ever had. I've had them since I was 12. I've had these for 5 years. 5 years of having highlighters. Like, that is quite a lot of time. That is literally a lot of time. Some highlighters will just straight up dry. Even if you don't use them, they will just get dry. And these 6 years, like 5 years, 6 years. Is that not what you need to be sold on them? I don't know what else will. Then I have my Pentel Sign brush pen. It's quite a thin brush pen, as you can see. It has a really fine tip. But I love writing with this for like for subtitles or for titles with a lot of words. I'll just write with this and then add a little something. I also have this little brush pen that I use quite a lot. It's just some random brush pen that I've had since I don't know when. Like, this is spawned in my pencil case that I've had it. It's slightly bigger than the Pentel. It's not as big as some brush pens as, for example, the Tombos. These are a few of the colors I have. They're my favorites, the ones I use the most. And honestly, they can be a little bit expensive, but I think it's good value. Like, they're worth it for what they are. Like, they're super high quality. They actually have a huge brush. Like, it's great for calligraphy. I use them sometimes for highlighting. They also have a little fine lining end that I also love using to make little decorations or things like that. There's definitely cheaper versions that you could get, like these from Stabilo, I don't know. There are brush pens also, super high quality, but slightly cheaper than the Tombos. The brush is slightly smaller, but it's also great for calligraphy. Now, regarding notebooks, my favorites are, these are just a few, but the Kikuyu Campus 26 ring B5 binders, they're actually great. I've just started using them, but I've honestly found them to be super high quality because like they're slightly smaller than the average A4 notebook. They occupy so much less space, so it's like, it's just more practical. And in these, you can just like pop them open, and I could just pop them open like this. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can just open them like this and just pull out the paper. See? This is great. And I love them so much. But some very good notebooks that I've used before also, which I think are slightly more common to find, are the Oxford notebooks. Like, the paper is super thick and high quality. The notebooks are fairly big, so you get like a lot of paper for what you pay. And just like, for example, this is like the smooth one. Just, it has like the smoother cover. It's like more plasticky, so I think it lasts a little bit longer than say this one that is paper. And just like, this is also fairly easy if you want to just rip away some paper, you can do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my stationery advice. Okay, so now that we've gone through all the other sections, I want to take a little moment for just, the aesthetic. As you can see here, I'm just like drawing a little title. This was me actually copying some notes that I did take before. So like this is not something that I was just taking of notes that like I wasn't being told anything in a class. So like obviously I had a little bit more time to work on it, but I just really did kind of a basic calligraphy title with a tombow, and then I'm using again the bullet points that I mentioned before to make an initial sentence that kind of explains what this is going to be about. Again, I used the fine tip of my brush pen to write a word that was one of the key points, so that is just like a little bit highlighted. And this is mostly really just me writing things, so this might be a little bit boring. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'm just trying to kind of apply the method I was talking about with you guys before. And now here you can see like I did a little sub point with the arrow and a highlight, an underline, sorry, and I just highlighted something. Now in this little portion of the video, I just wanted to like do a few different titles that weren't only with tombos. Like I wanted to do a few different things to show you that you really can do nice looking things even without having the most expensive supplies. Again, the tombos can be a little bit expensive. I didn't have them until like not so long ago because I was a little bit hesitant about spending that much money, but I bought them and I just wanted to show that little title with them. Now I did a little longer version of the title with the pencil sign pen, which has a slightly finer tip so I can make smaller calligraphy. And yeah, I usually use this for longer tiles and just like add a little highlight on the sides just to put an accent on it. I also did a little bit of calligraphy with a highlighter. As you can see, it's a little bit different from a brush pen, but I think these look so cute too. And another little variant of a title just with a basic highlighter and with the pencil sign pen, so like a smaller brush pen, and I just wrote the title in like all caps. And now I'm gonna do a little detail with the brush pen over what I wrote with the highlighter. I hope you enjoyed this and that maybe some of my advice was useful to you, that this can help you just get into your academic weapon era. Even if you are already in your academic weapon era, you can always get better. You can never be too good at something. So I hope I could help you at least a little bit with this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave my socials here if you're interested in following. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye!